I don't gotta change the world, I just got to be myself. I don't count dollar signs, spread love and I share the wealth. I've been overthinking all my life. No more wasting all my precious time. I feel alive, I feel alive, feeling like I'm 10 feet tall. I feel alive, I feel alive, feeling like I'm...
What are some goals that you were able to accomplish in 2023?
My biggest thing was just getting my real estate license.
Okay.
But it's funny because that didn't happen until like right around the second quarter. Like I was like, you know what? I want to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
So I literally just went online, found the school, attended the 7-day class, and you know.
What you did like a local school in town here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Largo, Bay Area School Academy.
Okay, cool.
She never even said that. She doesn't pay me to say that. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Amazing teacher though.
Did you like it doing it in class?
Oh yeah.
You thought it was like easier to pass the test because you did it
For
in
sure.
class?
Yeah, because like it was a 7-day class, and it was she went over the material super well. At first, it seemed like it was gonna be a lot because they literally just kind of like thumb through the book, but she tells you like what to highlight in the for the class test, what to highlight for the the state exam. But I managed to get it all done and went through the whole process in 3 weeks.
That's pretty good. I know. Because I think like isn't it 66 hours of like class time technically? So obviously you could break that up in like 7 classes pretty easy. I did mine online, and I just kind of like breeze through it as quick as possible. But the issue with doing the real estate classes online sometimes is there's like a class test, right? And you obviously still have to go take your Pearson VUE state test.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times what's on the class test is vastly different than what's on the state test.
Oh, completely.
From either the information per se, which is kind of weird, or like the way they ask the questions too.
For sure.
So I know when I took the test, there was like, I think 10 math questions or like 15, maybe max 10. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me just master these 10. So I have guaranteed 10 right. And I was just kind of breaking on the test that way just because I wanted to pass it the first time, you know what I'm saying? But I heard people that did take it in person, those teachers, like kind of like the practice tests that they give you at the end of that class are more closely, resembling like the questions that you take, because they kind of know that But and obviously you get good connections from the people that are in that class with you too.
Yeah, I did. So that's what actually kind of transpired me into going into wholesaling a little bit.
Okay, really?
So a chick that I met in my real estate class was just getting into wholesale.
Okay.
So like we actually kind of did a few deals together.
How did those deals go?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep, it's pretty good.
What do you think about wholesaling right now? Think it's tougher, easier, harder?
I mean, I don't really think it's tougher. I mean, it's a grind for sure. I don't really think it's saturated. You just got to do a little bit more work to like kind of find those deals, especially here in Pinellas County, just because like it's such a hot market. But there's still definitely deals out there.
Do you think the issue? I've always wondered. The thing about real estate, the thing that's so cool about it is like every deal is a little bit different in regards to like what makes the most sense for either you making the most money or having the least resistance to getting the deal done. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the two things that I've seen in the wholesale market recently, the last like 18 months, I'll say, is more and more people. Because the thing about real estate is, going back a little bit, is both sides are never equally as knowledgeable.
For sure.
Right? So I've always said, some people argue with me, but I've always said like both people can't win the deal. It can still be a decent deal for both sides, but there's still winners and losers, I think, in each deal. Meaning that somebody got a little bit of better deal, not necessarily just for them, but just in general, just on paper, no emotions, like this, like when they trade, a player, it's like who won the trade? You know what I'm saying? Like clearly they might have needed a quarterback, they might have needed a receiver, but this was a better quarterback than this guy was a receiver. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say that I think over the last 18 months in wholesale, because I think the general population's knowledge on real estate has grown a little bit. I think that's been exacerbated by COVID, when people have more time on their hands and they're doing research and they're going to get these licenses and stuff like that. And they made it easier too, because I think during the COVID years, they were like reducing some fees, some state fees or like stuff like that, just to keep people. That's the biggest thing is they say 80% of real estate agents today won't be in 3 years because of the annual fees that you have to keep up with, which is tough, especially if you're buying the MLS and you're, and then all the hawks that come and get you like, hey, do you want to do this advertising on cups and like signs and like all that? And it prices you out. You're like, dang, I'm paying $2,000 a month just to like stay in this thing.
Exactly. Because like even when I got my license, I didn't know like you had to get like registered with like the county, like whatever organization. You got to buy the MLS system. I'm like, yo, I just got my license to sell houses.
And then as soon as you do that, the DVPR is like, all right, your license expires in 6 months.
Exactly.
I think when you first start out, it's like it might be like is it 15 hours of continuing education?
I think it's like 24
or 24 the first time. Then after that, it goes down to like 11 or 14 or something. It goes down.
Something like that. I haven't hit that mark yet.
No, good.
I haven't hit that mark yet.
You'll get there though. I think that's the big thing is just stay in the game. You know, even when you're gambling, it's just like stay in the game. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like, even if you're winning playing blackjack, it's like, just keep the same $20 bet. Don't win a couple of them. Be like, I'm doing 50 on this one. It's like, no, keep it at 20. Because then if you lose, you're still in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for real estate, it's just like stay in the game. I think if you can make it 3 years in real estate, you can make a living on real estate.
For sure.
But you just have to stay in for 3 years. Even if you don't make money for the first 3 years, relatively speaking. It's just like stay in for 3 years, you will make money in real estate.
Absolutely.
But I just think that people's knowledge generally has grown so much that, you know, those wholesale deals are tough. Because before, when you would bring a wholesale deal to the other side, they may not know about it as much, right? That gives you the upper hand, right? Sure. Because, you know, as long as it checks out legally, most people are like, okay, I'll do it, you know, but they don't really know about it sometimes, right? So, but now I feel like when you're like, they're like, oh, you a wholesaler? You're like, oh yeah, I'm wholesaling this deal. Then if they have any kind of preconceived notion or prior knowledge, now it changes that deal a little bit. Because now they're like, okay, what's your assignment fee? Exactly. What's this?
Yeah, they got more questions at that point.
Yeah. Then they're like, wait, you're taking 40 grand off the top? Why not just 10? You know? And you're like, well, okay, if it gets the deal done, I'll just take 10 because it is a piece of paper that I'm selling here.
For sure.
You know, but I just think that's changed a little bit. I've noticed it just in you know, deals that I've looked at. When I'm talking to the other side and they're like, oh, well, we're not accepting seller financing or wholesale or whatever the case is. And it's because they've been jaded from other people that are likely newbies that, again, are just putting a number on their assignment without really knowing how to price their assignments.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing, even by being a new real estate agent. I've always said, like, if they come across, you know, Cornelius Real Estate, they're not going to know if you've been doing it for 1 month or 10 years.
Most definitely.
Right? Because most professionals, you just assume that they're competent enough to do whatever profession that they're saying that they do.
Correct.
You know, a painter, a plumber, whatever. You're just kind of outside of the reviews that you can look up. You're just assuming that they're competent to do it.
So they got the title. I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Exactly. And, you know, obviously a lot of people that are first-time home buyers are just naive or just don't know the process. You know, that's why so many people get kind of screwed over in real estate. And, you know, you'll see it too where, you know, it's good because to get your feet wet and to get deals under your belt, it's going to be friends and family, right? Sure. And a lot of people with anything that you decide to sell, outside of just being like an advertiser or marketing, that's a little bit different, but like things that you personally are behind and like want to sell, a lot of people will buy it because they're already buying you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I want to support what you're doing. I already buy him, so I'll do whatever he's doing type thing.
Most definitely.
That's how real estate is too. It's like, well,
people business.
Yeah, people business, and like they want to buy from you because they know you, right? But when you first start out, it's just mom, dad, you know, aunts, uncles, stuff like that, which is all well and good for you to get deals under your belt. But in theory, they're not potentially getting the best service because you can't even offer that yet because it's your 1 month in. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's going to get frustrating because you're going to get to year 5, right? And you're going to have somebody you've known for 10 years, 20 years, go use somebody else simply because it was their dad or their uncle or something like that. You're like, I can't argue that.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? That you guys live in the same house. I can't argue that. But he's only had a license for 1 month. I've had it for 10 years, 5 years.
Oh, but I got to go with my dad.
Yeah. You know, so that's something I struggled with when I first got into it because I was like, just, you know, grinding. And then, you know, I would lose a deal to somebody that literally just passed their test. You know, I'm like, you know, it's like they don't even know how to write a contract. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I was like, man, the only way you can really, like, you have to get your feet wet. You have to walk before you can run. So you have to like spend a couple of years doing these deals, learning the industry, stuff like that. But once you do, then you can leverage to do bigger things because staying in just the grind of just purely being a residential real estate agent, it's tough to compete because of those reasons. Like you're competing with people that aren't even in competition or shouldn't be on your level of competition, but they're there. The family ties, you know what I'm saying? The friend ties, and it's tough. So, you know, I remember sitting with my broker and being like, how do I make money in this? Like, where's my end goal? Like, where's my path like leading me? And she was like, you basically have to open up your own brokerage, which a lot of people do. After 2 years, take your broker license. Get your own brokerage. And a lot of times, like there's people that love it, right? So, you know, there can only be one broker per brokerage, technically, that holds the title.
For sure.
Even if multiple people have licenses as brokers, right? Then you could be broker associate, stuff like that, right?
Which I see a lot of those.
Yeah. Because a lot of people love the grind. So it's like, find one of those, you know, people that want to be a broker associate or whatever the case is. You know, they can hang their license and kind of run the day to day, but you kind of invest and own the brokerage, right? Because now let's say you go get your first brokerage in 2 years. over time, now you're just signing up agents, right? So now you got 100 agents at your brokerage, right? Well, even if only 10% of those agents close a deal every month, now you have 10 deals that you're getting paid on.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you really make money
nice
in this
leverage.
stuff. Yeah. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why Keller Williams makes so much money.
Bro,
because they're all, I love Keller Williams because they're so great when it comes to education and like teaching you.
For sure.
Like if you don't know what to do within 30 days, you'll know everything that you need to do to get it.
Because I heard they have a nice system like to really get like new agents like up and going.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gary Keller, he knew what he was doing. He like started it. And
now they're everywhere.
Dude. That's where I first started at. So I'm a little biased to it, but that's why I picked them. Because, when you get your license, everyone's going to be like, they just come to your license. Because they only get paid when you get paid. So it's like, it's they love it. But I was like, man, I got to know what to do. Like if somebody said, hey, I want to buy a house from you, I didn't know where to start. So and they're like, hey, within 30 days, you'll know where to take a seller, a buyer, this and that. And I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Within 30 days, I was closing deals simply because I knew like what to do. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
You have to know enough to like almost BS out of it sometimes, right? Somebody asks you a question, you got to know enough to give them something and be like, all right, let me follow up with you. But but you can't just be like, oh, let me follow up every time. Like, dang, like let me talk to who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? But no, real estate, it's the best investment you can make. It's obviously probably under $500 just to get licensed. You know what I'm saying? $300 to $500 depending which route you go. And I just think it's the best investment that you can make for yourself because you sell one house, you're already, 50x back return,
sure.
You know what I'm
like
saying?
That.
Even if it's a small house, you know what I'm saying? And just learning that process of working with somebody that wants to buy something that's so much money is so important, because people are buying stuff.
Big purchase.
I mean, it's your top 3 biggest purchases in your life. It's going to be a property, could be a car, and then your wedding or engagement ring or something. Outside of that, there's no other large purchase unless you're funding your kid to go to college.
For sure. You
know what I'm saying? And that's we'll get into a little bit later, but that's why when people talk about like their savings account, stuff like that, it's like it's all relative, because if you're saving without a reason, you know what I'm saying? Like what are you saving for? Right? Because if you're not saving for one of those 3 things or investments, it's like you're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying?
Money's just collecting dust.
Just collecting dust. So when you can actually break it down, be like, man, I already have like my house taken care of. I already have this taken care of. All right. The last one I don't have taken care of yet. So I'll save for that. And then once I have a savings for that, it's like, all right, boom, that's done. Let's save for the investments. Boom, that's done. Okay. Well, how much do I need for a rainy day? Well, they say you don't need more than $15,000 to $20,000 per person in your house. So if you're a single person, you don't need more than 15, 20K for a rainy day. So if you have more than that, you should be spending all your time trying to figure out how you can go spend it. You know what I'm saying? It's
multiply it.
Exactly. So if you need the down payment for another property, it's like, okay, let me put that in this other bucket. You know what I'm saying? But real estate's good, man. It's just, if you get approved for a $300,000 loan, most people have never even seen $300,000 in person in their bank account or in somebody else's bank account. They've never even seen it.
Facts.
So, it's, especially if you're working with a buyer, it's like so much responsibility because you're basically like a lawyer at that point. And you're just advising them on like how they should spend it, Then they watch all these TV shows and they don't really know what $300,000 can actually get them. They think you should get them a pool, white picket fence. Yeah. And you're like, man, this is going to get you something on MLK. You'll get a parade once a year, but that's about it. And, maybe a couple gunshots here and there. Just call it fireworks.
Not on 4th of July.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a skill, bro, that you to be able to let somebody down on their because again, you got to break down those barriers, when you're working with home buyers and even with sellers too. Somebody that lived there for 20 years and put their heart and sweat into redoing the floors and the windows and the whole 9. They're like, man, I know this is worth 500. Exactly. Like, well, you're on MLK, buddy. It's 350. It's like, it's like whatever it is. So, it's just you learn a lot from it, and you probably learn so much already from getting into it. But I think when you look back, that's going to be one of your favorite investments that you made, time wise, money wise, for sure, because of the connections that you're going to make, the knowledge that you're going to have, and obviously knowledge is power. And no matter how good or bad the economy is, we need a roof over our head. So for you to have expertise in that is invaluable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're and just changing generational habits, patterns comes from knowledge, just knowing what to do. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you and I have been able to do is because somebody took the time to teach us and we took the time to learn and listen, be coachable. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying? So it's just, I can't say enough good things about it. So that's a huge, I mean, when you look back on 2023, that's a big thing right there. If there's nothing else, is like, I got my license and 2026 comes around. I've been doing it for 3 years. I beat the stat that 80% of people won't be doing this in 3 years because they get priced out, get worked out. But you're a hustler, you're a worker, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, a lot of people get into it for the lifestyle, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like other things too. It's like some people do it simply for the lifestyle. Some people do it because it is their life. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So if like working hard is your life, then you just want to stack up things in your toolbox that complement a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? So real estate, the knowledge of expertise of that complements a hard worker well. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you're always going to need a roof over your head. Everyone you know is always going to need a roof over their head. You know what I'm saying? There's only a few things in life that everyone needs. It's medical, food, and a roof over their head. And I would argue faith too. But
amen to that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, you know, it's all like, oh, well, you know, that's only for women, that's only for men, that's only for this, you know, athletes, it's only for fat people, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But you got to have those things, and the economy doesn't matter, politics don't matter. It's like, you got to have it. So, but a lot of people, like I said, they get attracted to it because they just look at you going to open houses, doing this, doing that, going to grand openings, and making cool connections.
Stuff they see on TV.
Which is good because you have to do that. That's how you got interested. You know, that's how we all, you know, something has to attract us to even go down the rabbit hole of getting interested in something. But they don't realize that you still got to put in 40 hours a week minimally to get the results of somebody that, you know, to get the full-time results. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to go sit on my couch. You know, that's why they call it lazy listing. If you're lucky enough to get some listings, right? You really just got to make the post, and then other agents will bring, you know, the buyer to you, and you'll get 3%, 2%, whatever it is. But you know, if you're a hustler, it's just, you'll take it wherever you want to take it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that was one of the biggest goals that you got in 2023. But what is like one of the biggest lessons that you learned in 2023?
I think just one of the biggest lessons was just being like consistent.
Yeah.
Honestly, like no matter what it is that you're doing, just being able to like pivot through all the ups, all the downs, and you know, everything like that. What's your
process for, you know, just speaking about consistency? What's your process for like your week or your day to day? Are you a to-do list type of person? Do you map out your week at the beginning of the week and say, hey, I got to get these 5 things done? Because I know some people like to break it down by day. Some people like to do it by week. Because for instance, let's say you're talking about running, right? A lot of people say, instead of saying I'm going to run 2 miles a day, let me just say I'm going to do 12 miles per week. You know what I'm saying? That way, if I miss a day, I can still hit my 12 miles a week type of thing. Definitely. But obviously, sometimes we're more time sensitive. So it's like, I got to get it done on Monday, Tuesday. But like, kind of what's your process?
I'm like a to-do type person.
Yeah. Like every day?
Like every day, typically. Because usually, obviously, I hit the gym, usually Monday through like Friday, sometimes Saturday. And then that's like a non-negotiable. Then like from there, I just like take the to-dos that I have to do throughout the day or even like the week. Yeah. Just from like my calendar. Because I used to just write everything down, but now I've just been loaded to my calendar.
In your calendar? That's I've been doing the same thing. Like on my calendar, I'll put the things that are non-negotiable. So whether it's a gym, running, different studying, whatever the case is, like it's non-negotiable. So when the alarm goes off on the calendar on the phone, it's like, I got to stop and do it, you know, to make sure I do it.
Let that up.
And then like separately, I'll have like a to-do list, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, all right, because it's something about just like checking it off, deleting it off your list. Just like
accomplish.
And then like looking at the list, like, man, I haven't checked off anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I mean, that's all it is, you know, is, and it's like being more purposeful about it. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do lists with like, not just like the to-do list, but like obviously with goals. And because I feel like I mean, even me talking about it, I probably still could be even better at it because, you know, as detailed as you can get with your goals, the more like the more they'll become reality. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why I say like, so like, you know, how much money do you want to have in 5 years? You know, like most people would take them more than 10 seconds to answer that question, you know, definitely. But if you could be like, I want 5 million, I want 10 million. It's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Just getting more detailed with it. And it's like, all right, how much, and you know, if money's your goal, like whatever your goal is, you know what I'm saying, is just be more detailed with it. I feel like it really, again, anything that you're able to do on a daily basis because you detailed it out. So it's like, why not detail out like your goals or, you know, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year plan, stuff like that. Absolutely. But no, it's a big lesson. I think for me, and I feel like I've always been like motivated to, I don't even know what the root of my motivation is. I probably could list off a few things, but I feel like I never lose motivation, but I don't have it like, so that kind of offsets me not being so disciplined. Most people, it's the inverse. It's like they can only be successful if they're disciplined because their motivation comes and goes. You know what I'm saying? But I wake up so motivated every day, mainly because I really do think that like my life could be short. Anybody's life can be short.
But you can.
A lot of people think that it's not going to be them. It's not going to be me in the car accident. It's not going to be me that gets in the motorcycle accident. It's not going to be me that gets in the drive-by in the wrong place, wrong time, or the school shooting or the mall shooting. You know, it's like, it's not going to be me. For sure. You know, so I've always been like, it could be me. The same
people it happened to. The same people always think this can't be me.
Exactly. So I've always I've really embodied that. And I think it's because of things I've had happen in my life where I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. So it's like, it could not make sense. You know, it's like the luck is already there for things not to make sense.
For sure.
You know, so that's always kept me so freaking motivated. But I think I could be getting more done if I was more disciplined. You know what I'm saying? So I get a lot done because I'm motivated, but if I'm disciplined, I think I could double down on things that I would like to get done anyways. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons I learned last year was, you know, a lot of people make New Year's resolutions and stuff like that and goals, whatever the case is. And I'm big on that too. I think it's positive, but I like to always start that like in the fourth quarter. I love the fourth quarter, bro. Fourth quarter is my favorite time of the year.
Fourth quarter,
football season. Football season. Hockey season, all the holidays, you know what I'm saying, from Thanksgiving, New Year's to Christmas. Everyone's energy is good. Like I'm big on good energy, and like even like people that are grouchy are happier, you know what I'm saying? Like just like the vibe of like serving, giving. Cause I feel like we're supposed to be servants anyways, you know, if you're faith-based, like that's what it's about, you know, it's serving others, finding ways to serve. And again, that goes back to having knowledge and expertise because, you know, you're being a servant by teaching people that, you know,
most definitely,
whether it's on the credit, insurance, or real estate side, you know what I'm saying? So service business, you're a servant, you know what I'm saying? So I like to start like those good habits in the fourth quarter. And I started doing that being very purposeful about it in November, where, you know, how I created my calendar on a weekly basis or monthly basis. Obviously, we talked a little bit about before, you know, having those 6 mini trips and something to look back. I did all that in November, December. So most of my year this year is pretty planned out already from the things that I non-negotiable. Like if I do them, I'll have a great year. I just got to do them. You know what I'm saying? The work's going to come. The work's always there. So obviously working hard is like a byproduct of, you know, just who I am. I'm going to work hard. But yeah, man, just being disciplined, I think will, you know, like I said, that was probably one of my biggest lessons was just like, got to double down on, you know, just making sure things get done, even if you think you can do them tomorrow. That's the biggest thing. You know, it's like, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'm like, all right, let's just do it today. We got a little bit more energy.
Facts.
Unless I'm going to bed.
Better when you actually knock it out. You know what I mean?
It feels way better, way better. And then anything feels better when you knock it out. You know what I'm saying? So let's speak a little bit about like what you're doing now. I know you got your hand in a few different pots. So I guess let's start with the credit repair business. Just tell us a little about what you're doing with it. Yeah. How you can help people.
For sure. So I've been doing credit repair since almost like 2018.
Okay. Wow.
And that's actually what actually got me into real estate.
Okay.
Because I was getting a lot of agents that were actually referring me their clients to help, you know, fix their credit up so that, you know, they could buy homes and things. And I help a countless of numerous people do that. And in my mind, I'm like, dang, you know what? Like, I can actually be assisting them doing both.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's actually what kind of got me into like, you know, one-stop shop. That's what kind of got me into when I get my real estate license. But yeah, the credit's been lovely, man. Like I said, I'm in all service-based industries, but the credit I love to help assist people with, you know, cleaning up those derogatory remarks on their account so they can go back and obtain the things that they want to obtain.
What's I know everyone's a little different on their situation and you know, the things that they did to even get them in the spot that they're in credit-wise. But what's like the average timeline to start seeing some improvement? I know it changes, but like what's the average timeline to start seeing some improvement?
Sometimes like 30 to 45 days to see improvement.
Yeah.
So that's the quickest I've seen.
Okay.
But on average, it usually takes like, you know, it used to be a year, which that's a fair time for like to repair someone's profile.
Yeah.
But it could be done within like 3 to 6 months.
Okay. That's pretty quick. So I'm assuming like because like lenders and people have came to you before, then you know inherently now you have good referrals. So when people come get the credit, and now they're like, okay, you know lenders that would accept me now. You probably have a handful of people you can refer them to.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's big. Okay, and then what about on the insurance side of things?
Insurance is lovely. I love the insurance.
Yeah, so speak a little bit about that. Yeah.
I wish I would have got started with insurance.
How'd you even get into that?
So I just had a buddy selling insurance. Well, he was working at Verizon full time, And it's funny because I actually was getting into my real estate license while he was doing the insurance business. And he's like, hey, come do insurance with me, I'm like, I'm already just started.
On this.
Yeah, I pay for real estate. I'm just going to get my real estate license. Cause like I said, I just wanted to have that just for like my current clients that I had.
Yeah.
So then, got the license, and then, I seen them killing it with the insurance business. And then, I've also had people ask me, hey, do you know anyone that sells insurance?
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, you know what? Let me just go ahead and add this to my.
Let me get this. I don't want to. I'm tired of burning this out.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So just let me go ahead and get licensed. So like that's why I wanted to, get licensed and to be able to help people protect themselves and also like, their family. But also I wanted to like educate people too with like life insurance policies, which I'm still learning. But like I know like the basis of like how it actually works and how it can benefit each client.
Are you going to work towards getting like different licenses? Can you get like different licenses in that?
Yeah, you can get like I got my 215. Yeah, so you can get like the Series 6 and Series 7 but I have like 215 to be able to sell life, health, and annuity.
Okay. So you're like for like term and whole life, you can do that right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And IULs.
Do you have policies for yourself signed up? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, man. The insurance, the more you dive into the insurance world, it's all connected. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of have to be in real estate. You kind of have to have your insurance figured out.
For sure.
Some businesses, the underlying play is an insurance play.
Most definitely.
Like even like Turo, right? Turo, just like Airbnb, you can make money renting out your one car. You can make money renting out one house. The way you make a lot of money is having 10 houses.
Most definitely.
For Turo, having 10 cars. But when you have 10 cars, obviously you have the cash flow coming in from those, rentals on a weekly, monthly, daily basis. But the real play is the insurance play.
Absolutely.
As long as you have the right coverage, then when somebody totals out that car, you're getting paid more than what the car's worth.
For sure.
So that's really what the play is in Turo. You know what I'm saying? So people just go out there, they pay for the gap insurance, they pay for that, and they're, we got a crash. Hope they're okay, but perfect. You know what I'm saying? So, but the insurance, I mean, even like the Rockefellers, when they, created basically whole life policies for their whole family, which connects to basically creating your own bank,
for sure,
down the line with, cash value policies.
Like IULs, Index Universal Life Policy.
Yeah. And then it's just like, you borrow against that. And then, when you die, you have a debt because you borrowed against it, but then you also get paid because you died, so that repays your debt. And it just kind of keeps cycling. So a lot, I would say that like people, that's one of the things that people don't know enough about. I mean, obviously there's so much stuff to learn, but if you can dabble in insurance and just learning it,
absolutely,
you know what I'm saying, I feel like that would help a lot of people.
YouTube helps out.
Yeah, YouTube's crazy, dude.
You know what I mean? You can learn anything on YouTube.
YouTube's university, bro. They should University of YouTube.
No, big facts.
I was trying to think of, those commercials like we were growing up, like in high school, and they would be like, get off the couch. And like, they'd be like community colleges and like online schools and stuff. It's like, man, YouTube University, like that's all you need, bro. Like literally anything you type it in, like how to, it's like, it's there,
pops
man.
right up.
Man, it's crazy. And the craziest part is like, there'll be 10, 20 videos of like know-hows, like, how to do this. And then it would be like I always get fascinated in the details. So I'm always like, man, this guy thought of like doing this video, and 20 people did out of the whole world. Only 20 people did.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And then boom, now because there's only 20 of them doing it, now they all have 500,000 views, 1 million views. Now it's a quick check. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. Now their page has X amount of subscribers simply because they made one video that could help people. And I started realizing like what Jeff Bezos said is like, any kind of business endeavor that you do that could help people is always going to win, So it's just kind of crazy, like how simple things can be. And we're always trying to reinvent the wheel. Like, oh man, I got this crazy business idea. It's like, well, is it helping people? Like, I don't know. I'll be rich. It's like, well, may not be sustainable. You know what I'm saying?
Big, it definitely has to be sustainable.
So you've been grind. So, I mean, how long has it been since you had like a normal 9-to-5 job? Like how many years?
Shit. I think 2019. Ish, I want to say
right before COVID, pretty much
before COVID. Yeah,
I mean that's big. That's 5 years. Or going on 5 years if it's not.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been a contractor since then.
That's a hustle.
Yeah, man. It's
but it probably feels good.
It's not built for everybody though, which is crazy, bro. Because like you got to write your own paychecks. Like you got to be like so driven. Like it's rewarding, but like it's a different ball game.
It's a grind.
You know what I mean?
It's a grind, and it's man, it's like it's kind of like basketball in the sense where like if until there's a whistle, like you're playing offense, defense, like you're running nonstop,
coaching too.
Football, yeah, exactly. Football, you got 20, the play is what 10 to 20 seconds on average. Then you have 30-second break. You know what I'm saying?
Right back
and that's what 9 to 5 is like you work 8 hours, you got a break. You know what I'm saying? But like when you're independent contractor, it's like the breaks happen when the clients decide to take a break. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get some sleep now because I don't have a client calling me. You know, it's not because it's time to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Until you have the luxury of creating your schedule as an independent contractor, which comes in time. So like you probably hear it all the time. People are complaining about their job or want to do what you're doing in the sense of taking that step to be an independent contractor, even if they want to dabble in other things. So like what are some things what are some things that you think they should consider prior to leaving their job?
Make sure you have enough funds to make that transition, because diving into any type of business, sometimes it
takes money to make money.
Yeah, it takes money to make money, but you won't always be super profitable when you start a business like that. But a lot of people, which I tell a few friends, create a side hustle while you're at your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Something that you enjoy doing or something that you think might be profitable that you might even like, because there's some things that you might be good at that you might not love, but it can be beneficial to people and also profitable, business for you. So
absolutely,
definitely, do something outside that, 9 to 5 and, kind of build up a small income stream, and then, slowly try to make that transition.
I think that's a good one too, because if you can't juggle a 9 to 5 and a side hustle, you may not be successful as an independent contractor.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? Because a side hustle to me is 15, 20 hours a week. So now you're talking about 60 hours a week.
For sure.
So if you can't put 60 hours in a week as an independent contractor, you ain't going to make it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good one.
Like when you're an independent contractor, you're working a lot of times more than 60.
Sometimes double. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But and that's the thing too. It's like there's so many things that like you can look across the fence or look across the yard, look across the table of somebody else's life and identify leisure and work. But like if I ask you to identify, so if I look across to you, all right, this is the things he does for fun, this is what he does for work, right? But you may not label those things the same way from your perspective.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say that anytime you get out of bed, you're already working. You know what I'm saying? So some people don't consider making breakfast, lunch, and dinner work, but some other people would be like, that is work. I'm a chef. That's work.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's all relative, but it's all, the thing is like when you have the luxury of actually working towards something you want to do, you don't, that's why they always say the cliche, and the cliches are real, bro. The cliches are real.
That's big fact.
That's why I always say people should strive to be a cliche.
If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're not going to love every day that you work,
for sure.
But it's definitely a different feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not watching the clock. You're the thing is too, it builds accountability. You know what I'm saying? Because I think when you're in an office setting or any kind of job, it's easy to always say it's not your fault, or it's somebody else could have been better and maybe you would have been better. You know,
for sure.
But when it's just you, it's like you got to look in the mirror every single time.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like we didn't get this deal. We didn't make enough money. We didn't underwrite it correctly. I didn't pass this test. Whatever the case is, it's like it's you. It's you.
Full accountability.
You know what I'm saying? And I think the more that you can build accountability, the more that you won't burn yourself on the stove twice. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But you can make the same mistake twice, I think, more frequently in the 9 to 5 environment, simply because of a lack of accountability. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's huge. But I would say like making sure you have your funds in line is a huge thing. And the thing is too, is like, I always tell people to make an exit plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you know you don't want to be doing this in much longer, but you have the money coming in, then reduce your lifestyle as much as possible for at least a year, 6 months minimally, but like ideally a year.
Got to see the bigger picture.
And if you can't reduce your lifestyle, that means if you get into a tough situation as an independent contractor, you're not going to make it through.
For sure.
Because you can never take away things,
Got to take away those pleasures.
And the thing is most of those pleasures are very easy to take away. Even somebody that drinks and decides not to drink. Okay. If you drink 2 days, and by drinking, I mean just inherently like going out to drink. For sure. You know what I'm saying?
Adds up.
It adds up. Even if you do it two days a week.
Adds up.
You know what I'm saying? It's like easily $100 to $300. Like
you're
just
hungry,
off that.
You're eating dinner.
Yeah, exactly. You have 2 dinners. Like, man, I ate 2 hours ago. But I'm hungry.
Exactly.
So like, I think it's easy to reduce those things. People talk about like, don't get the cup of coffee at Starbucks. Like, no, get the cup of coffee at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? That's not what's gonna like.
It's not gonna make or break you like that.
Not gonna make or break you like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like obviously, like within reason, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about cutting off $100 tabs, $200 tabs that like, you know, add up over a couple of days of just doing stuff.
Just don't go outside.
Don't go outside. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like bunker down. But, you know, keeping your income will help you get credit if you need credit, because you likely need credit to get your business going anyways. You know, if you're trying to get into like real estate investing, it's like, all right, use your job to get the loan
for sure
before you quit. Because now you quit, now you have no income, now you're not gonna get any loans
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, people don't understand like how huge like having good credit is. Like having
everything.
Cash is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Like it's amazing.
Cash is great.
Cash is
do whatever you kind of want.
Exactly. but that credit will get you indoors, and you know, I mean, it does so much.
Yeah, credit's everything. I mean, credit's your name. Credit's your brand. You know, like you work so hard for credit. You know, and I think I always talk about the older generation, and by older I mean, you know, 20 years older than us, where
it's your resume.
Yeah, it's your resume. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But the thing is like those people have done well to have a good credit.
Facts.
They also have some cash, but now they don't know what to do because they never were taught how to make a plan and execute on it. Everyone has good ideas. Like you could talk to anybody that's 50 years old. They'll tell you an idea that they think is good, and you think it's a decent idea,
for sure,
but they don't have no idea of how to execute. You know, and again, I think being an independent contractor, you learn accountability day one. You have to have accountability, and secondly, you learn how to execute. Because that, like, when people ask you, like, what do you bring to the table? You know, you could be like, oh, I bring credit, insurance, real estate. I'm a hustler. I'm a hard worker. It's like, okay, hustler and hard worker are already prerequisites for us having this conversation. You know, so what do you really bring to the table? Well, you named off 3 things that you do. So to me, that's just execution. You know what I'm saying? You had a plan to do insurance, you had a plan to do real estate, you had a plan to do credit, but you're doing it. So you're executing on it, right? So I think like the 2 big things that you learn as an independent contractor, entrepreneur, whatever the case is accountability and execution. If you can have those 2 things coupled with some discipline, you're going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? But if you're somebody that can't take accountability at your current job, if you're somebody that isn't disciplined in your own life with certain things, you know, whether it's like, I'm not going to go out this week, and you can't say no to somebody. It's like, all right, we'll work on that.
I'm the no man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to be a no man, you know what I'm saying?
No, fact. It's healthy too, though, because a lot of people, like, they just yes against things that they don't even want to do.
Yeah.
Which in all actuality, they're disrespecting themselves.
Yeah. The thing is they don't even know when to say no because, again, they never took the time to see where they want to be.
For sure.
I think most people, like even with resolutions, they always just pick one thing, like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do this. Again, those things are really positive. You know what I'm saying? But going to the gym without an end goal, to me, isn't as positive as it could be.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So going to the gym is better than not going to the gym, right? You don't want to be sedentary.
For sure.
But what are we working for? Is it a weight loss number? Is it a weight gain number? Is it building muscle number? Are we working towards a physique competition? Are we working towards minimally 4 days a week? Because that's our goal. You know, like what are we working towards? You know, that's a piece that people never want to spend the extra 5 minutes to think about and write it down. You know what I'm saying?
They just, I want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, do a few workouts, and I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Like, what did you really go for?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
So, and that's why it's tough. So like, if you're like, I'm not going out, and I say, hey, you want to go out? And you say no. And I ask the question, like, why? You know, even if it's none of my business, but somebody could ask why.
For sure.
Right. And then, so I say why, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not spending money on food and drinks outside of the house this week. And I say, oh, that's a great idea. But why? You know what I'm saying? And you're like, because I need to save money. Okay. Also a great idea.
Facts.
But why? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like knowing why you're doing that. Well, I'm saving money because I plan to leave my job in 12 months. Okay. Why would you leave your job? Well, I want to start my own business doing A, B, and C. Well, why? You know,
it's just
like, you know, go do that why until you don't have a reason to, you know, there's nowhere whys left, you know, there's always another why, you know what I'm saying? But that just like funnels it down. And again, being prepared builds confidence, right? Allows you to play fast, allows you to work fast, talk fast, be fast, right? Be efficient while you're being fast. And so having those answers already dialed up is perfect because now it's like you have a reason for everything you're doing. A lot of times we live our day without having reasons for everything that we do. You know what I'm saying? And I think the more reasons we can have behind something, and that leads to, even they say from like a mental standpoint, mental clarity, but also remembering things, you know what I'm saying? Which is super important as like an entrepreneur, is like, you got to remember conversations you have.
For sure.
People suck at names. I suck at names, remembering names, but I always remember a name if I add
something attached to it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I can like hear something like sports related and remember it. Like I hear it once, I know it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so interested in like the Bucks or whatever. So it's like, I know when something's said, I'm like, oh, I remember that because I attach a meaning to it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, if you attach a meaning to everything you do in your day to day, your week, your year, it's going to be a meaningful year, inherently a meaningful life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's like those small things. And those are the things that we learned with, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, they were just trying, it wasn't really about us saying what we wanted to be. Because most of us got to 18 years old, and even if we had $10 million in the bank, we didn't really know what we wanted to do with it, you know? So it was never about like, tell us at 6 years old what you want to be. Right. It's about teaching us to connect meaning to things that we thought were meaningful. So any of our answers back then was because we thought being a football player was meaningful. That's the only reason why we wanted to say it. Or being a pop star, rapper, whatever. We just thought it had meaning because it had meaning to us at that time in our life. You know what I'm saying? So I know, like, just speaking on myself, that's allowed me to, again, be more purposeful with the things that I am doing, which allows it so much easier to say no to things. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A lot of people just say no. A lot of people just say yes. But again, even your yeses should have meaning to it, you know? So like the easiest way to do it is like, I always said that you can't put a quarter in more than 4 places, meaning that if you can only really have 4 buckets in your life to be successful. Right. So, and obviously some people have multiple businesses. So I would just put business in 1 bucket, right? So the 3 things you do for business, I would just put that in 1 bucket, business, right? Other bucket, like for most people, is family. You know what I'm saying? Another bucket might be faith. It should be, because if faith isn't a bucket and you're saying that faith is important to you, then that means you're not willing to put more than 25% into it, right? So the whole thing is that if you have to allocate at least 25% of your time to a bucket for it to even have a chance to be successful in your life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But if you have more than 4 buckets, then inherently you're diluting it more than 25%. 5 buckets, you're down 20%, right? It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So I think whenever you're saying no or yes to things, it's like, does it fill any of these 4 buckets? If it does, I might still say no, but at least we're in the right direction, you know? But at least you have a reason for why you're saying yes, and also a reason for why you're saying no. But a lot of people haven't thought about where their 4 buckets are, or they have 10 buckets right now because they said yes to so many things.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I was the same way, dude. In college, I said yes to everything. I had so many different jobs. Like I would have 2, 3, 4 jobs at the same time, have to make ends meet, have to pay for school, have to like try to have some money for investments because I knew where I wanted to be, like all these things. But inherently I would get burnt out, or a lot of things don't work because it's like you're in college. So you're people that I'm talking to, it doesn't really matter from an age perspective, but the people I had access to at that age in my life weren't necessarily people that were like crazy successful, maybe had a little bit of success in little things that they did. And so they'd be like, hey, you want to do this? You want to do this? You want to do this? And I'd always say yes, because I was like, oh, you never know which one's going to hit,
for sure.
But then think about, you take that same logic to like stock trading, right? It's like you're screwed. Like every stock could hit. It's like, well, they're not. Only like a few of them are going to hit. So it's like the same logic, right? So then I started getting more mature and realizing, like, taking enough L's, like, okay, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. This did work. Why did those things work? It's like, oh, we had good communication. We had a good plan. We executed on A, B, and C. We knew what we were executing on. On the baseball field, everyone had a different position, which is so important for a business to be successful. Like, just like play a different role. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just, again, having those buckets is so important, and it just allows you to have, like, again, the confidence to say like no or yes, and knowing like, okay, like, is this going to help my business? Okay. Is it going to help my family? Is it going to help my fitness and health? Is it going to help my faith? Whatever the purposeful buckets are in your life, you know what I'm saying? It just becomes a lot easier.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
So I know, going back to real estate a little bit, I know you said you got some leads from like some crossover from the credit and insurance stuff, but how else are you like sourcing leads right now on the real estate side?
For real estate, I haven't really been.
No.
Nah. Like I've been posting just like online for like a few things, but like I just kind of been taking it as it comes for the most part, to be honest with you.
You've been doing some open houses and stuff?
I haven't done an open house in quite some time. No. I got a listing now, which is on the contract.
Okay, nice.
So that should hopefully close in the next like 2 weeks.
Nice.
But that was just a friend who, kind of hit me up, one of the new construction property.
Okay.
In Tarpon Springs, and he wanted me to help represent the the property. So,
dude, open houses are huge.
They're
huge, and the reason why is 9 times out of 10, you're not going to meet anybody at the open house that's going to buy that house
for sure.
But they're trying to look for that quality of house, or looking for somebody to talk to buy a house, right?
For sure.
So
the building connections at that.
Building connections. But what I would say is be almost build out a niche with the open houses, right? So decide, like, when you're doing real estate in the beginning, you could take on anything, right? I'll work in Tarpon Springs, I'll look in Sarasota, wherever I can get a deal, I'll do it. So keep doing that, but be purposeful with your open houses. So I would say, for instance, like I'm only going to do open houses for $800,000 or more houses, right? Or I'm only going to do open houses in Kentwood, or I'm only going to do open houses in, whatever you decide, and only do them there, and then consistently do them at least one a week, ideally, but no less than 2 a month. If you do at least one a week, and let's say you decide only to do $1 million houses, you're only going to talk to $1 million buyers, right? For every 10 leads, you're going to convert minimally 1, likelihood 2, but minimally 1, right? So now if you're doing 1 open house a week, now you got 50 open houses you're doing a year, right? And those 50 open houses, you're going to meet at least 3 people at each, right? So now you got 150 people, right? You're going to close at least, like I said, 1 out of every 10. So that's if you have 150 in a year, that's 15 people you're going to close.
Facts.
Even if it's $1 million, that's $15 million.
For sure.
Right? Now you're making 3% of that $15 million. Now you're you got a pretty good year. That's $450,000. For sure. On 3% commission. Just like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I know people that's exactly how they built their business, where again, the day-to-day, buyers, sellers, they'll work wherever. For sure. But they're not going to spend their time to open house at a $300,000 house, next week at a $600,000 house. Like, pick a niche. Either stay in that 300, 400 less range, stay in that middle ground where I don't take an open house less than 500, but I don't take one over 750. I'm 500, 750, right? Or I'm just going to go to the $1 million threshold, which inherently is going to be less buyers. For sure. But more serious buyers too. For sure. Because millennials ain't wasting their time. Facts. But when they do convert, you're getting 30, 50, 60 grand checks for every closing. You know what I'm saying? You get to tap into the network. Exactly. And you're tapping into that network, and then that leads to a whole nother thing. So I would, a couple of people that I got into real, because I got my license back in 2015, and a bunch of people, not a bunch, I would say 2 or 3 guys and girls, that's what their focus was. And now they're killing it. They're making $400,000 or $500,000 a year simply just on real estate because they have those big checks that come in from those $1 million buyers. For sure. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my advice, is to do more frequent open houses. And the thing is, you can do open house for anybody, right? You don't have to have the listing. You're basically helping them out. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to help with your social media content, because now you have, access and a reason to be in those properties, so anytime that you do content, shoot it on those days, So now it's like, okay, I'm going to commit to doing 1 a week. So now that open house that I do for 3 or 4 hours, whatever it is, once a week, now it's going to be my content day too. You know what I'm saying? So now you get both done in the same day. You know what I'm saying? Double dipping. And it's like, now you got the $1 million house, $1 million cars that might still be parked there, like everything. You know what I'm saying? Doing the walkthroughs, like, if you want to pay for drone like once a month, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. And now you pay for drone 12 times a year, and you get a discount because you're using them so frequently. But now you're getting drone footy of not only you in the house, the open, everything. You know what I'm saying? It changes everything because of all the optics, right? Facts. And again, nobody's going to know you've been doing it for 10 months or 10 years. They just know, oh man, this guy's going to open house in this $1 million mansion. He can help me. You know what I'm saying? But again, once you talk to people and you're face to face, it's hard for them to not go with you once they buy into you. You're be like, oh man, he's looking out for my best interest. The biggest thing is you don't have to have all the answers as long as they think you can get the answers. For sure. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about, being resourceful. Exactly. So it's like, if you don't have the answer, be like, you know what, let me double check on that. I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to misquote, right now. I want to make sure we take care of you. So they respect you for that too. Yeah, exactly. So I do that all the time. It's like, I know a lot about what I know. I know there's so much I don't know. So I'm like, I know where to find the answer. So we'll get the answer. Then just being so quick on it, being prompt with responses, communication, etc. But I would say that's a way you could really source leads that will lead to something meaningful. Because again, those $1 million leads, meaning that it doesn't matter if they don't even buy something from you. If you get coffee with some of the people that you hit it off with once a month, every other month, you know what I'm saying? They might know this or that, or they might have a friend that comes into town and say, hey, so-and-so wants to move down here and retire. Can you help them out? So it changes everything. But then even if you're referring $1 million places, buyers elsewhere, now that 20 to 25% referral fee on a $1 million sale, now it's more than what you would make on a full sale of a $400,000 house. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're going to spend your time doing open houses, you want to be super, super purposeful with how you attack it, or else it's never really a waste of time, but it could just not be the highest use of your time. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like some ideas that I know have worked. So what's I think you talked about a little bit, but what's your fitness schedule, just to like obviously maintain the mentals? Yeah. No, I'm just, you don't buy from me. Right. You got problems. Put you in a headlock.
But no, I just want to be fit. Nothing crazy. Like I just want to healthy, keep my same frame, maybe bulk up just a little bit. But like I'm happy with my body, how it looks now. And that's just from me being consistent, hitting the gym every morning.
Are you, was your fitness journey mainly just lifting? Are you doing some cardio? Do you eat a certain way?
Basketball for cardio. I kind of eat how I want to still. Yeah. I'm super grateful for that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just mainly just lifting. Nothing like crazy heavy, just a little razzle dazzle. Yeah, just kind of keep the pump in.
Keep the pump in.
Yeah, keep the pump going. You know what I mean?
So you got a good like support system with that, or is that something you're good like solo doing it?
No, I work out with a few buddies.
Yeah, like keep you going, or are you kind of like the motivation for them to?
It's both.
Both.
Sometimes it's both. Sometimes I'm getting a phone call at 7 o'clock. Yo, wake yo. So you know what I mean? Or sometimes it's like vice versa. You know
that's big.
I mean? So like,
oh yeah, that's really big.
Even when I don't want to go, like sometimes I still get up and go, and once I'm done, it's like I'm glad I pushed through that.
Yeah,
I got through that.
I mean, dude, you know what I mean? the post workout feel is different, dude. It's like a crazy high. It's hard to explain, because it's just like you did something you didn't want to do.
For sure.
Now you can like, it's like I always say, like for instance, like for me, I'm scared of heights. I've powered through some things that involve heights, but it's never fun. Because I'm genuinely scared of heights. You know what I'm saying? So like people will be like, "Oh, go on this roller coaster." It's like, and now roller coasters, I could get over the height a little bit because it's so quick. Like you're up for a small period of time. But now as I get older, like the motion sickness kind of gets me. I'm like, I don't think my body's supposed to be like doing that no more.
That's a little too much.
Yeah. So it's like more than that than the heights. But before, like some people would be like, "Oh, would you ever go skydiving?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, it'd be so cool." I'd be like, no, like. I would never even find like, but some people that are like a kid, right? A kid that's scared to go on the roller coaster. His parents make him go on the roller coaster. It's like a kiddie one or something, right?
For sure.
Then he goes on it. And although he was scared the whole time, honestly did not enjoy it. There's no way he could say that he enjoyed it, but now he can say that he did it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of how like working out is like, it doesn't really matter if you enjoyed it or not. At the end, you can say you did it. And you know that, you can be like, yeah, I worked out 3 days this week because you did work out 3 days this week. You know what I'm saying?
Got it done.
So I think like even if you're chasing those highs, it's not bad because it's like, all right, it's like, you have to be doing something proactive to even like get that high. You know what I'm saying? But man, yeah, like getting a tough lift in or doing some tough cardio, dude. I mean, you got to go to a dark place to even get through sometimes.
Look.
And then you're like on a different level, bro. You're freaking. You're ready for anything.
Cardio is not my friend. Like I said, basketball is probably the only. Yeah. And I bike every so often, but
cardio's tough, bro. Let's go run like 3 miles is tough. Yeah, I'll be running, and I'm just getting back. It's only been a few weeks, so I've been getting back into it. But dude, by the time I get to like even mile 2 at this point, and I'm running down these streets, I'm like, damn, bro, I'm like anybody can murk me right now. I have no energy. Like a freaking fifth grader could just take me out right now. I'm like, man, if somebody's dog's out right now, I can't get away. Like I just have, because I'm just dead. Like I don't have nothing left. So I'd be feeling so vulnerable, bro. I'm like, dang, I feel that. I gotta go find a track or something. This is crazy.
Take me, Lord.
Yeah, take me, Lord. So if somebody asked you, like, what would you say like drives you? Like, what do you like? Where do you think your hustle and grind comes from? It's kind of 2-part question. Like, what drives you, and where do you think?
I think just nothing. I don't think there's nothing like really specifically that drives me. Just wanting to do better for myself. Yeah, for the most part.
So
like
yourself.
Yeah, like growing up, I always see my mom like working hard at her job or like almost anything that she was doing. So I think like just seeing that, even like my dad, like just kind of like instilled to me just like being able to like work hard. But these days I feel like I'm working a little bit more smarter than working hard. You know what I mean?
That's
but like but just like kind of seeing that growing up just always led me to like wanting to do things. But even the things that I'm doing, like I've always wanted to like do more things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's just being driven from within inside myself.
Yeah. I support it, man. I mean, the thing is too is like when you see the people around you working hard, that's why it's like you are an environment of your, you kind of are, your environment to a degree. Simply because, I mean, the crazy part is you can be in bad environments, but be around hustlers.
For sure.
Even if it's your parents, you know what I'm saying?
No, facts.
Because like, obviously they're hustling to like do whatever they got to do to make ends and get you where you need to be and be a support system for you. But that's the biggest thing, man. Like you can't fake it, right? Like they can't not work hard and then you see them as hardworking.
For sure.
You could love them, but you would never see them as hardworking if they weren't.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's something that drives me is that like, you know, when I saw my parents grind out just to get by, you know, I'm like, you can't fake that, you know?
Sure.
So it's like, I won't be able to fake it either. You know what I'm saying? No, so that always gets me. Like, if I have kids one day, or again, like, you know, nieces, nephews, whatever the case is, like, you can't fake it. They're going to see you for what you are. And
face value.
Yeah, you can't fake it, you know? And I'm not saying that you should work hard for face value. I'm just saying that you can't lie to yourself and think that other people are buying that lie. You know what I'm saying? So why not be the best that you can be? And that's the thing too. Not everyone has that like killer instinct when it comes to like grind. Like, what are we doing? Like, we can't just be sedentary. We got to do something here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not everyone has that naturally, because maybe they weren't brought up around that, you know, or even people that worked so hard to be in a really comfortable position by the time they had kids. So when the kids were growing up, they didn't really see dad grind, even if he was grinding, for sure, because his grind was different, but they couldn't understand. I feel like
that's how it is probably like growing up in our generation now with you know, all the technology and things that we got going on these days.
Absolutely. So it's like a lot of people, it's not, you know, I always said too, man, like if you know, it's kind of like that natural chip on your shoulder, but like if you have a chip of any kind, whether like, you know, for the person that always got passed up on the sports team, or like got passed up for this or that, or the person that had to grind for everything they had to do, or their parents had to grind for everything. Like, man, these school shoes weren't like automatic, you know, like this field trip wasn't automatic, you know, like whatever chip it is. Cause sometimes it's the chip of your parents grinding, right, to make ends, but they got so much pride, they don't even let you help.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's different too.
No, facts.
Some parents like, you got to get a job at 14 and start helping out. Some parents are like, they want that, you know, but they also don't want you knowing about their finances. They don't want to know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much pride and ego that goes into it. So sometimes like you build a chip because you wanted to prove to them that you could help, that you could have helped, and that you can help, you know? So the chip comes different ways, but I think if you have a chip, it gives you a kind of the upper hand, I think. Because chip versus no chip, I think chip's going to win every single time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You got something to prove.
Yeah. So it's like, I wouldn't say for people to like look for their chip, but like, I think a lot of people could identify one if they did do some like, you know, some internal looking or looking back or reflecting, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if you have a chip, and the thing is, if you don't have a chip, maybe you're blessed to not have a chip, you know, but that just means you have to work even harder to compete with people that do have one. Fact. You know what I'm saying? Because
the people that got it, dogs.
Yeah. Cause it's like, you know, they already been there, you know what I'm saying? So no, that's pretty powerful. So we're obviously in January, so the beginning of the year, everyone's hype and got that positive mindset and ready to go. But in 12 months, so in 12 months from now, going into next year, what do you want this year to signify?
Growth. Honestly, just growth, like especially with the insurance business that I just tapped into. Like, I'm loving it. The people that I'm surrounding myself with, you know, a few agents that I, you know, brought on to like help get up and going. But like, I just wanted to be growth for the most part.
Okay. So
with that, with faith.
Yeah. So with growth with the insurance, would that be growth with like deals, or growth with people that you bring into the community, both. Or just both with deals, being able to help, you know, families get situated with policies, growth with, you know, the people that's around me as well. Yeah.
You know?
Do you have any like specific ideas at this point? Maybe you don't, but at this point of how you could, you know, any ideas that would facilitate some growth?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like more internal work.
Yeah.
As far as like personal development, you know, learning more about it is actually what I'm actually doing. Just like things of that nature for the most part.
Okay. Very good. And then like a year defining achievement. What's something? And maybe again, you don't have it right now, but if you don't have it, I'll challenge you to think of one
for sure
to have, like
a personal achievement, or
just like a 2024 achievement. Like obviously you want to have growth in a few different in your buckets. You want to grow your buckets, right? But outside of growing your buckets, which over time will just be good habits, right? Like that'd be part of your habits. Like I need habits that will facilitate growth in my 4 buckets that are important to me. So maybe start off with that. Like what are your 4 buckets?
I mean, obviously family, faith, my time, you know, which is definitely huge for me. And then, you know, also like my
business,
my health and wealth and business, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I would say, when you look back on 2024, obviously 2023, real estate license
for sure,
and started the insurance.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Took leaps and bounds on the credit side. But real estate, I would say 2023, when you look back, I got my real estate license.
For sure.
I started something that I was always kind of interested in.
This year, I feel like I just got my insurance license, which I kind of did because I got it towards the end of
last year.
So
this year, you'll look back, and if you could, you know, maybe write down 5 to 10 things that could either contribute to growth or would signify growth, because it could be different, right? Like if I do this, this signifies that we grew here, you know, or we grew here, or, you know, I'm getting 5 to 10 leads a month casually, you know, we grew here, you know what I'm saying? You know, whatever those things are. But, you know, if that's the case, and I think when you look back on 2024, it'll be the insurance year, right? Because it'll be like, but, you know, what's going to be the catalyst, right? Because if you start tapping into real estate and real estate goes crazy, then you might be, this is the year that I hit $1 million in sales. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got a lot of that's like the luxury, but also like the tough part. Because again, you only got so much percentages you can put in each bucket. For sure. And right now, insurance, credit, and real estate are in the same bucket because it's business. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of those businesses could take off so much that now real estate or insurance could become its own bucket. Right. And then it's business, real estate, you know, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? So I think this year is going to be super pivotal for you because, you know, you've done well to position yourself, you know, for a lot of opportunity. For sure. But now it's like, where is opportunity going to strike the most? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I feel like insurance. And the reason why I say insurance is because, like, I mean, I love real estate. I mean, obviously, like, I'm a new agent. But with insurance, it's easy for me to like bring new agents on and like show them the ropes. Yeah. Real estate, I can do the same thing, but like with insurance, I can just help people, you know, sell policies and then, you know, protect families faster and get them compensated a little bit faster with insurance. I like that. And it's something that they can always use, leverage, and you're providing. The thing is, a lot of times when people are selling something per se, there's not always instant value. Sometimes there's never even any value attached to it without like A, B, and C being connected. You know, it's like, all right, like if you do this and then this works out, then like you'll get this, you know. But I think like, again, when it comes to insurance, it's kind of like instant. It's like what you sign up for, you're instantly covered. You got this kind of cash value coming in this many years, you know, yada, 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 you know. So it's like, it's something that people can tangibly, because, you know, a lot of people just want to connect the dots. Like, how do I get here from here? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like insurance is one of those things where it's like pretty, like, you know, pretty simple. You know what I'm saying? So, so last question here. In life, what do you constitute as success? Just being happy, man. Honestly, happy? I think being happy is like so underrated. Like, cause me, I'm a very super like positive energy, like joyful person. And like, to me, like, that's just a success. Obviously, like, everyone wants like more money, more this, more that, which obviously I do want that too. But I feel like being happiness and like having that peace within. Yeah. I was gonna say peace is huge, you know? Yeah. Which is kind of like, you know, to me, priceless. Yeah. You know what I mean? Obviously I want like more time freedom and things like that, but all that will, you know, definitely come. All that'll come. Yeah. I think if you can, you know, like liking what you do is happiness. You know, I think if you can like what you do, you're going to be pretty happy, you know. Absolutely. And that's like in your work life, family, you know. And again, it comes down to saying no to a lot of times, saying yes, and sometimes creating solutions for those no's too, you know, because a lot of times like, oh no, I can't go out this week, but we can do this. You know what I'm saying? We can have dinner on Wednesday if you want to come over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you can still maintain good relationships with no's, with providing some solutions, and be like, you know, or things that you just know that you generally don't really like to do. You know, it's like, I don't really want to do that. I'm down to do something with you, or I'm down to work towards this. I just don't want to do it here or there or do this. You know what I'm saying? So I've been trying to do that, like challenge myself to like come up with solutions. You know what I'm saying? For every like no. I feel that. You know what I'm saying? Or like every issue is like, let's come up with a few solutions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, even with like your daily chores, like I got to go to the grocery store. It's like, I don't want to go. So maybe if I say no, then I don't have an excuse to not get my miles in. I don't have an excuse to not do A, B, and C. But now it's create a solution for when I am going to go. And that's create a solution for if I don't go to the grocery store today, then I don't have a meal to cook. So what's my solution? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, I think it's like being more purposeful. I think just having, that's why, again, the cliches, bro, living life with purpose is going to lead to happiness and peace. Because now you know why you're doing everything. You know what I'm saying? And even identifying the things that make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Again, cliche, but I think it's a lot of power in that. And, you know, the more power that you have over your own life, you know, the more happy you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of this stuff's like pretty simple stuff. And like we all kind of know it, but you know, it's like, you know, it's just a challenge that we have to give to ourselves to just keep striving to be great. You know,
absolutely.
That's why, I think I heard somebody say this the other day when they were talking about like Nike and stuff, like back in the day. And they're talking about like Phil Knight talking to like, he used to be kind of before speakers were popular. He used to be a big speaker. He used to just go to different universities, different, obviously around the Portland area a lot, but he'd go to a lot of different universities and talk about Nike, which helped it get, just, it was, good publicity and stuff like that. But he'd always just say that, like, because people would always ask, like, what does just do it mean to him? That was like the most like common question that he would get. And, he would just be like, it's just the process. It's like, I'm paraphrasing here, but he would just be like, it's just doing it. It's like, we're like, Nike's always here basically rooting the people on that are doing it.
But
you know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times it's just putting things in motion, and, you're going to fail a lot. You're going to get things wrong a lot. But if the process that led you to get something wrong was following things that brought you peace and happiness, then it's never a loss, because not only did you learn from it, cliche, but you were only doing it because it brought you peace and happiness. You didn't get the result you wanted, but it was the process. You know what I'm saying? That's what you hear everyone talk about too, is like the process. And then like, it's so crazy because like when you're in the process of anything, it never necessarily feels that great until you step back and like look at it, it's like working out, like you never like, this is great. You know what I'm saying? But when you look back in hindsight, you're like, oh, that it was a process of, working out, like regimentally, working out with my crew, like doing whatever you were doing. Like that part was fun, because a lot of times you can't even, that's why you have to reflect, bro, because you can't even see it in the moment because you're in the moment. If you are processing in the moment, then you're not really in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at that photo to be like, oh man, that was a fun time. Because you were just having fun in the moment, when you see the photo and they're like, oh, send me that photo, you're looking at that photo, you look at the same photo for like, however long. It's because you're just remembering the different times that were fun. Like, oh, I remember I was over there, like, oh yeah, he was wearing that hat, like blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, then you could reflect on the process, and it's like, it's funny, whatever. But yeah, man, I think if we could just be more disciplined this year, bro, I think we'll be able to hit everything that we're trying to do. Just Absolutely. A matter of us just being disciplined, executing, locking in, bro. This is going to be a pivotal year. You know what I'm saying? Just like being in our 30s in general is pivotal. You know what I'm saying? Like I think in your 20s, you can get ahead quicker by making a lot of the right decisions early.
Facts.
But I think in our 30s, anything we do between 30 to 40, like there's no getting away from it impacting our 40s and 50s.
For sure.
Like we're going to have to almost get to our 60s to get you're basically going to have to be resetting in your 40s, which won't really show impacts till you get close to 60 if you don't do something right in your 30s to 40s.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing is just like keep the blinders on to the things that make us happy and get us closer to filling up our buckets. And, it's like running the 5K races, it's like stay the course on your pace, your timing. Don't worry about the guys flying past you. The guys that you're passing, it doesn't matter because they're staying on their own pace too. Because at the end of the day, I've always said everyone goes through the same things in life. It's just at different times.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
It's you.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like some people grow up in a single parent household. Other people grow up with two, but dad dies when they're 30, dad dies when they're 20, right? So now inherently a single parent household, right? Some people graduate nursing school at 22, some graduated at 45. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone goes through the same thing most of the time. It just happens at different times. You know what I'm saying? So it's just take not pride in some of the bad things that happen, but just it's always an opportunity to have crossed that bridge. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the earlier that you can cross tough bridges, the better it's going to make you. You know what I'm saying? But the first $100 you make, everyone will make $100, but make at different times. The first 100 grand that you make, the first 50 grand that you make, the first sale that, whatever. It's like everyone will go through those things in life, and it just happens at different times. And, you're not better or worse for the timing that you have. It's just, that's just your story. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's always important to remember, because sometimes obviously when you're just hustling and grinding, it's like, man, am I behind? Am I on track? It's like, well, go back to your own notebook. What were your buckets? What were your goals? That'll tell you if you're on track. Maybe your goals are too small. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that person made their goals bigger.
But
you know what I'm saying? Maybe they're more disciplined.
Major, small, and hit them.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the one goal, like I feel like whenever you look at like your 2, 3, 4, 5 year goals, I would say starting at 3 years, your 3 and 5 year goals should feel unattainable. You know what I'm saying? But if you work towards something unattainable, it inherently will become attainable. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people always start like frontwards, where they're like, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, keep those at the forefront. But I'd rather say in 2026, I want to have 3 cars. Okay. So if I want 3 cars in 2026, what do I have to do now in 2024 to get there? It's like, okay, I have to save a minimum of 40 grand a year, let's just say, whatever the case is, right? But now I have something to work forward. That's sort of something bigger. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want that Lamborghini, whatever it is, like obviously for me, I'm not a car guy. I don't care about cars, but whatever the thing is for that person, it's like, make it like so far out, but make it like down the road. That way, everything you do right now backs into that, which is huge for the credit. It's like, I want to buy a house in 2 years. Okay. What do you have to do? I got to get my credit right today. I got to get this right today. I got to make sure I don't leave my job before then, because I'm going to have to have 2 years of work experience to get pre-approved for the loan, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you can't, a lot of times it's tough to make your goals today because you don't have your goals for 2 years from now.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I would challenge like everybody just to make sure.
Got to reverse engineer that.
Got to reverse engineer, man. That's how we do it. So if I'll challenge anybody, bro, it'd just be like, write down your goals. Because I would argue that 90% of people don't even write down their goals outside of what they want to do this month or what they want to do this year. You know what I'm saying? Like They don't even think about 2030. It's crazy. That scares some people. Yeah, it's coming. But if you thought about 2030 and it's 2024 and you get to 2030, bro, you're going to be like, I already been thought about this for 6 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I know for me, dude, when I was thinking, bro, I'd be in like junior in high school thinking about like, all I would think about was like when I would be able to like just work a 9 to 5 every single day with not have to worry about school. So junior year of high school, senior year of high school, even playing sports, doing everything. Freshman year of college, like all I thought about was when I got out, So everything I did between that time was to like not mess up the trajectory to putting myself in a position to have a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was so focused on that. Because I was like, man, if I have a full-time job, I'll be able to get a car. I'll be able to like pay for rent or whatever the case was, So all those other small things, people are like, oh, I just want to get my first house. I want to like move out my parents' house. Like I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking about full-time job, and then inherently the things I had to do to get that full-time job allowed me to do all the things that other people put as just like their short-term goals. Fact. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like making that bigger and bigger and bigger as I get older. You know what I'm saying? So again, like for me, it's not really about like possessions. It's more about like buying back like time and freedom so that I can use that time for things that make me happy, whether it's playing golf, doing charity endeavors, whatever the case is. So that's what I'm striving for now. It's like, 2026, 27, 20, 29, 30, like I have like those goals that I want to hit. So now it's like, I got to move a certain way now to like, get there. And inherently I'll probably check off all the other things that are, the only goals that people put down for themselves now, because inherently if I'm living a certain way, I'm going to hit those goals on the way to the bigger goal. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, facts.
Yeah, man. But hey, I appreciate you
absolutely
coming on here, making it happen. We'll get you on at the end of the year so we could do like a, review on like what you're able to do between this conversation and maybe Q4.
Absolutely.
And, talk about, there's gonna be some struggles along the way. There's gonna be some, editing the plan and, kind of refocusing your focus and discipline and seeing like where you can improve, like we always got to go back to the drawing board and see like, are we leaving money on the table? Am I leaving time on the table? Am I leaving good memories on the table? Like, what am I leaving on the table? You know what I'm saying? So that's the next big thing as you create different successful avenues for yourself is just not leaving things on the table. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it could be, big for family time too, right? It's like, am I leaving time on the table where I could have spent an extra 30 minutes over here, extra hour here? We were talking about obviously the thing for your sister that you may not be able to make it to, but it's like, okay, that's a no, because I can't do it because of these two things, but I got a solution for you. We'll do it this time at this time, and we'll spend an extra 30 minutes at this time that I wouldn't have been able to spend this time. Or if I came to this time, you would have had 20 other people in the room that would be vying for your time, but now it's going to be more one-on-one and we can act, whatever the case is, it's like, it's all about like the vantage point, perspective and optics of it. It's just like, there's always a solution for a no. But sometimes saying no is a solution. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
So sounds like you're, as always, like on a good track and killing it, bro. And, with all this, with everything you've worked so hard for, obviously you didn't work this hard to only come this far. So it's crazy because like, the harder you work and the more things you accomplish for yourself, it's like, now you have more responsibility to see it through.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, bro, I appreciate you, iron sharp as iron, you know what I'm saying? So like, I like to, surround myself with people like you. And I take motivation from everybody, bro. I always like see the good in people. And I always, it's not about like being outworked per se, but it's about, seeing people do positive things and making sure that like I'm doing positive things too. You know what I'm saying? Because again, things we're doing today, we could be doing none of it next year if it's no longer positive or no longer adding to our buckets. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm just excited for the journey, bro, and the process. And like I said, we'll check in at the end of the year and see how things are looking, and we'll have more stories to tell. So
absolutely, looking forward to it.
Yeah, bro. Until next time, dog.
Till next time.
I'm feeling alive, feeling like I